Hey YouTube, it's Sean. And we're going to attempt to fix a brass float that's got a hole in it, okay? Now you can take and go to the hardware store and get yourself a sheet of this brass. Make sure it's thin. You want the thinnest one you can get. And this is 5 thousandths thick, okay? Alright, this is the float. As you can see, it's got a hoary hole in it. Big hole. Terrible. It had problems before, but I'm not sure what happened there. Now, it's not this float that had problems before. It's the other float that was in it. Well, I found this float floating around my shop, okay? But it had a hole in it, probably because it got something sharp near it in the drawer full of parts, okay? Should have put this in a zippy bag probably. But anyway, that's an easy fix, okay? Take your float, take your metal, you cut yourself a little patch that fits the hole, okay? And then we're going to solder that up. And it's simple to do. All you need yourself is to do is get yourself, some solder. And I prefer to use this this acid core. I know a lot of people say don't put acid core on brass and stuff, but this works the best as long as you neutralize the acid when you're done, okay? You got to clean it up. Then use some flux along with it, and that's guaranteed to stick and hold, okay? We'll show you when we get back. Be right back. Alright guys, now we got it soldered, it's time to test it. And no, the fork isn't sticking in the float, okay? It's just holding the float to the bottom of the cup, okay? I just got a cheap little styrofoam cup that I can throw away when I'm done. Excuse me, YouTube. And I just hold the float to the bottom of the cup and look for bubbles. If you have a leak, you will have bubbles. And if you don't, fine, that's great, because that means you fixed it, okay? And then when you're done, you pull that out. If any water gets in it, you can shake it, okay, and you'll know it's in there. And if it does, you can take and poke a small little pinhole in there and shake all the water out, and then resolder it and go around it again with solder. So let's see if we got it. Don't see a bubble one. I'm not seeing any bubbles coming up, guys. Alright, I'll bring you back. See if we got it fixed. I'll show you my solder job. Alright, be right back, guys. Okay, folks. This is what you're going to need to do this job. Of course, you're going to need your float. You need a little wire brush, and preferably brass. I would make sure it's brass. A little pair of tweezers. I prefer the ones that hold the part. A little tin of flux. Some solder. I prefer the rosin or the acid. Okay. Then you're going to need some 91% isopropyl alcohol. Okay. You need that to wash the float when you're done. Okay. And you use that with the wire brush and scrub it up. Get all that flux off. Okay. You need these while you're soldering. Okay. Of course, you're going to need a soldering iron. Now, I prefer between a 40 and a 50 watt. Just a pencil soldering. You don't need anything fancy. Just a pencil tip soldering iron. Do not use a torch on these. No fire. Alright? Now, if you have gas in this, of course you probably will, from it sitting in the lawnmower or in the car or whatever you're fixing it for. Take and punch yourself a pretty big hole. Or if you already have a pretty big hole like I had, just put it in the sun. Shake all the fuel out of it you can get, put it in the sun, directly in the sun, and let that evaporate. Alright? When it's done, scrub it with that wire brush and the alcohol. Okay? Get it clean on the outside. Alright? When you're all done fixing it, and there's the job I did. Whoops. Now it looks like that's a lot of solder. It's a very thin layer. On camera it looks like it's more. But it's not. It's just a thin layer over that sheet of brass. Okay? Of course you're going to need that sheet of brass that I showed you. Now, if you want your float to stay protected from the fuel that we get now, which is ethanol based, and you don't want it to turn green, or brass will turn tarnished and green, get yourself a bottle of this from the hobby shop. It's just dual coat lacquer, okay? Or you can get airplane dope. Okay? It's fuel resistant coating, and it's fuel resistant to nitromethane. So I know it'll protect against gasoline. Okay? Nitro is a lot more potent. Okay? This is made for model planes. So if you spill your fuel over your decals, they won't shrivel up and peel off. Okay? All you need to do is get yourself a can of that or a bottle of that. Okay? And just grab yourself your tweezers. Hang on a sec, guys. Get hold of it. And hold on to it like that. And then get yourself a Q-tip. Put this on there generously. Let it sit in the sun, dry up, and you got yourself as good a new float. Alright guys, thanks for joining me on my repairs. Remember, if you have questions, throw them down in the comments, I'll answer them. Remember, if you watch, thumbs up. Thanks guys, bye bye.